Good Wednesday afternoon. I'm KHOU meteorologist Kim Castro. We are kind of tiptoeing around today. So far, so good. Yes, we are on the breezy side. Here's a look at current wind speeds right now. 12 miles an hour in Houston, 16 miles an hour for Sugar Land. Wharton, you're on the breezier side. 23 mile an hour sustained wind for you. 22 for Angleton. Wind gusts for today will top off right around 30 miles an hour. In terms of temperatures, well, we're in the upper 70s, low 80s. Quite a bit of warmth and humidity out there. Those dew points in the low 70s too, and that means our atmosphere is just getting saturated, primed and ready for any storm systems that would roll through. But for right now, it looks like we are seeing a lot of that energy tracking towards the north and to the northeast. Here's a look at satellite and radar. We can certainly see the satellite portion of this. We have a thick deck of clouds in place right there. You could see the dry air trailing behind it. That's the dry front pushing the moisture out of the way, and some storms firing off to, again, our north and to our east. There is a tornado watch that has been issued for eastern Texas getting into Louisiana that stretches all the way into the southernmost tip of Illinois. There's also severe thunderstorm warnings. One has been issued there just east of Dallas, headed towards Tyler for this band of storms that's packing quite a punch. We have seen very thin but intense storms develop along this front with hundreds of lightning strikes and the potential to develop some hail, some strong gusty wind. We can't rule out the possibility of some rotation within these thunderstorm cells. Now, I will mention to you that much of this activity is well off to our north. So it's a big line of storms that we're watching here, and we're just on the very tail end of that, which is why we have the very tail end potential to see some of these storms become a little bit stronger and perhaps severe. But the main threat really lies within this bullseye right there. So Arkansas, part of Louisiana, a big portion of the southern and middle Mississippi Valley. We could see a little portion of Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky and Tennessee within the highest risk for some strong and even severe storms to develop this afternoon and early evening. For us, we're in the green, which is the lowest likelihood to see that happen, a 1 on the 1 to 5 scale. But we are still being really mindful of some of these storms potentially veering into our area, our far northeastern counties, and we'll be watching that closely throughout the day. But for right now, models are really scaling back on that potential, and I want to show you the latest model run that shows very spotty, isolated showers, kind of like what we saw yesterday. There was a brief downpour every now and then, but otherwise, a lot of spots remain dry, and a lot of the storms missed us. And we're hoping that's the case for today. At least on the severe side, we don't really want to see storms. We could certainly use the rain, though, much for a state under a drought. So if we could get some storm systems that aren't severe to pass through here, that would certainly be beneficial. But if we can get away without the severe component of these storms, we'd like that as well. So the main potential to see those storms kind of fire up with the daytime heating and the instability will be right around 2 to 5 o'clock. That's the time frame that I'm watching for these storms to develop. Otherwise, that front is going to pass through the area. You can see not only are we getting rid of any radar signatures, not only are we getting rid of the green, the potential for rain, we're also getting rid of the satellite component. So the cloud deck is going to clear, and that's going to set up for a beautiful Thursday through and through. A little bit on the cooler side, and it is going to be on the dry side, at least for tomorrow. Rain total potential, not impressive whatsoever. In fact, a lot of spots showing zeros. That's especially true for a western county. So Washington, Austin, Colorado, Wharton, you might not even get a sprinkle of rain. A couple of spots could wind up with half an inch. Some heavier totals, you can see the blues out of the viewing area towards the east, but we could see a cell spill over into perhaps Polk, San Jacinto, and the northernmost portion of Liberty County. And that's where we have the threat for some stronger storms to develop. But other than that, once we get through this late afternoon and early evening, once that front passes through and we don't have a lifting mechanism to force that moisture up to rise and create these thunderstorms, then it's going to be smooth sailing. So tonight, the skies are going to clear. For tomorrow, it'll be a cooler start. So we'll be in the 50s, low 60s at best, and then we'll see that sunshine warm us up very nicely with dew points staying low, that air staying dry, and enjoy it because by Friday already, we're going to start to see moisture creep back into the forecast. So behind that front, we're going to see the juxtaposition. So the different air mass that's moving in that is dry, not really cooler, but at least dry. And that's going to make it feel cooler because, you know, when we have the warmth and we've got the humidity, the condensation of it creates even more warmth. So it feels even warmer out there when we've got this type of moisture hanging out. So at least we'll get rid of that. We'll go from dew points that are in the low 70s to dew points that are in the 40s and 30s. 39 for the dew point and bush. That feels really comfortable. In fact, it starts to even feel a little bit on the dry side. You might need a little bit of moisturizer for tomorrow, maybe some chapstick. You will not be needing that this weekend, so take advantage of it. We'll start off right around 60 degrees at 8 o'clock. I think we'll bottom out somewhere near 55 by 6 o'clock in the morning. And the temperature is quickly rising as that sunshine takes us into the upper 70s by the lunch hour. We'll look to max out in the low to mid 80s for tomorrow. Sunny, beautiful, calm, nothing to worry about. But we will see that same front that passes through this afternoon and evening. It's going to start to retrograde, to move back in the way of a warm front, and that's going to be on Friday. Now, the way warm fronts work, the way they're a little bit different than cold fronts, is they don't really come barreling in. They more so just simmer on in. So they'll glide up and bring us a potential for some light and more modest shower potential. No severe threat with these storms. Just a chance to see a light sprinkle, maybe a light passing shower there for 6 o'clock on Friday. So for your late afternoon, early evening time frame. Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to hold on to just a slight chance for a little bit of moisture, but that's only because we've got that southerly flow pumping in, and we're definitely going to feel more humid, more muggy. You could run into a little sprinkle here and there, but no disturbances that are going to hone in on that moisture and organize it, so to speak. So although we will see the warmth creeping back in, I think we're going to stay dry. That's not to say it's going to be completely carefree, because it's actually going to be quite hot and humid. So you might be breaking a sweat during those Easter egg hunts. The next considerable chance for rain will come in Sunday night into Monday. That's when we do get a disturbance to move in and organize some of that moisture. Hey, who's looking for a little bit of good news with the added moisture and some of the push of wind? It's helping to clear out something that we have been battling with weeks on end. Especially last week, we saw record-breaking levels of oak pollen. We're talking about levels that are close to 11,000 particles per cubic meter of air. Now we're under 1,000. So we're at 856 for the particle count. That's still on the high category, but at least we're out of the very high and the extreme levels. Next pollinators, trees, ash will be at 44, pine at 34, and hopefully if we get a little bit more moisture today, will help flush some of that out even more so for tomorrow. Grasses are also high. Weeds are moderate. Mold spores are low, but at least some relief there in the allergy forecast for you. All right, let's walk through the 7-day kind of day by day, step by step. So still holding on to that 40% chance for an isolated storm. So no widespread activity expected. In fact, this front will be very thin and fast moving. There is a possibility that some of these storms that are really favoring the northeast could develop in southeast Texas, but I'm really thinking that a lot of that will stay out of the viewing area, which is great news. Although we could use the moisture, we don't want it to ever be severe. But we'll have team coverage tonight, and we'll be watching that front approach us closely with Tim Pandages and our chief meteorologist, David Paul. Thursday, that is our relief day. That's a reward day. So we see that dry air move in, and warmth will be very comfortable. That sunshine warms us up to 84 degrees, sunny, dry, great. Friday, we get that receding front, that warm front that brings us the potential for a couple of isolated light scattered showers. Saturday, only putting that 20% chance there because of the added moisture in the atmosphere. No front, no mechanism that's going to organize the moisture. Sunday, even lesser chance, especially for the plans that we've got for Easter. So church, the Easter egg hunts, things that you've got planned for the early and middle portion of the day, I think you should be totally fine, with the exception, of course, quite warm. We're pushing 90 degrees and we got quite a bit of humidity out there. So just make sure you're staying hydrated as you're out and about and enjoying your holiday. By the overnight hours, there's going to be a chance for some shower activity for the remainder of Monday and the remainder of Tuesday. We're looking to see conditions dry up. But for now, just stay with us, watch the forecast, make sure you've downloaded the KHOU 11 app. And if anything does arise, if any watches or warnings come about from this front that's passing through, you will be notified first. Otherwise, we will see you back here on TV at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Have a great Wednesday.